Only on NBC5 News tonight, we're continuing our conversation with Medford abuse survivor Nancy Bree Wold-Johnson. Tonight, our series concludes with her message to people in violent relationships, the resources available, and why talking about our problems with loved ones and maybe even professionals is so important. Here's Craig Smolin.
Last night, Nancy Bree Wold-Johnson shared with us the horrific story of her first marriage and the abuse that came with it. Tonight, we're learning how domestic violence also plagued her daughter. We do want to warn you, this is a difficult conversation, but one that we feel needs to be heard. After several instances of domestic violence in her first marriage many decades ago, Medford woman Nancy Bree Wold-Johnson took her tiny daughter Nikki and left.
The night that I left, she recounted that her whole life. She said, "Mom, I saw you covered in blood driving us somewhere. Didn't know what was going to happen." You know, so emotionally, that's very scarring for children, whether they talk about it or not.
Just 20 years old, Nancy was out on her own. No easy feat for any single parent, let alone one some 50 years ago, but Nancy raised her daughter on her own. When Nikki went off to college in Ashland, the two actually took classes and graduated together. In the 80s, Nikki fell in love and married a man who Nancy says controlled and abused her.
And then tried to isolate her, move her out of the valley, move her somewhere else where she didn't have that support. Oh.
Control.
Yes, control. Moved her, talked her into coming back after violence.
After a couple of years, Nikki got divorced. When she was ready to start dating again, it happened again.
She never got over that. She married an abuser, didn't see it, didn't present until they were married. It's not unusual for women who do not seek counseling to pick the same type of person.
Nancy says her daughter did receive counseling, but it was always as part of a couple, and the counselor was chosen by Nikki's husband and then later her boyfriend. As times have changed, many people now know to seek their own mental health professional, as not all situations call for couples counseling. There's also more resources in the Rogue Valley to help women in unhealthy relationships, like Medford nonprofit Community Works and its Dunn House, an emergency shelter.
Depending on your situation, they will come pick you up. They will house you that night. They will give you counseling. They will get your papers in order. Protect your children, protect you.
Sadly, those resources weren't available to Nikki. In 1993, after one rough night with her boyfriend, Nikki died by suicide.
I believe my daughter carried that violence inside. That was the darkness. On the outside, she was the light. Everybody would say she lit up a room.
Nancy believes if the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline 988 was around back then, Nikki would still be here.
Many of those 988 calls are specific about, I won't make it through the night. The person on the other end is trained for that. And it's so easy, so accepted. I mean, you talk to most people, they know what 988 is. And they would want somebody to use it. And that instant connection. Doesn't have to be face-to-face, as you say, doesn't have to be voice-to-voice. But they can reach out and let that pain out.
Even though her daughter died decades ago, Nancy wants people to hear her story because she worries we're losing our children.
It's not just adults. It's the kids in your house that you had no idea, because there may be a smile on their face. They may be looking well-adjusted, but what's inside, what trauma is with them, whether that's bullying, whatever it is, we don't understand what that's doing to them. We're doing a much better job of that, bringing it into the school, looking to see, if you feel this way, talk to us. And I think, you know, that never occurred before.
Sharing her daughter's story doesn't come easy to Nancy, but she echoes Steve Rowe's thoughts. If by doing so she can change just one life, it'll be worth it.
We'll never know exactly what she was thinking, but people are almost afraid to be around you. Loss of a child is hard enough if you have children, and your empathy is overwhelming, but you cannot say that to someone else. You don't know what to say.
And she knows that firsthand. 32 years later, Nancy still vividly remembers something that happened at a local grocery store shortly after Nikki's suicide.
I was about halfway down the aisle, and I knew the person coming towards me, and they locked eyes with me, turned their basket, and left. Never said a word. It was difficult, that there was a shame on suicide rather than wanting to help. You just want to be away from it. And things have come a long ways.
We all have people that love us or care about us, be it friends, family, a professional, neighbors, or coworkers. So talk to someone, anyone, about what you're going through. Opening up could make all the difference.
We need to help them reach out because tomorrow does need them. My life is totally different.
To learn more about Tomorrow Needs You, go to KOBI5.com. Remember, you can call or text the National Suicide and Prevention Lifeline 24/7 at 988. If you know someone or you are going through an abusive situation yourself, you can also call or text Medford-based Community Works at 541-779-4357. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is 1-800-799-7233. Both these numbers are available 24/7 in multiple languages. Remember, you are not alone. No matter what you are going through, there is help, there is hope, and there are people who care. Tomorrow needs you. In studio, Craig Smullen, NBC5 News.